Good. How have you been? Pretty good.
Whatever he wants.
Working on it.
Glad you got it.
I did well a couple during the pandemic. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Probably away, but of course, regained back. We were actually talking about it today. My contract. Copy of my own. That'd be fun. That's great. Oh, there's Gina.
So he is one of his final acts.
Yes. I did not know he retired. I saw him in March.
I was gonna send an announcement, he goes.
Well, it's kind of like me when I left my organization. I get a hard time to throw a party.
Anyway, I don't need it, I've got a copy. So
The original. It's this very pen. All agendas are short. Yeah, I think I work straightforward ridership, service updates. Then we'll have a presentation on the commuter choice program of projects, PRTC. It's very straightforward. And then the only action item is to authorize public hearings on adding but we're just on the public hearing part of it, so you're not approving any service. It's just go get feedback. With the success we've had of 7-day service in Eastern Prince William, that was kind of the test case to prove that's what the 6-day
it was
service.
good, it was good.
So we added our Sundays. I expected two things to happen. I expected the ridership to be not very good. Over 2 or 3 years, and it would siphon off our Saturday ridership. It did not. In fact, our Saturday ridership.
You can take me
immediately our Sunday ridership bounced to being 2/3 on Saturday. That is what Sundays are. Sundays are historically 2/3 of Saturdays. Whatever you get on Saturday, the same level of service. Doesn't matter where the country you go, it's just in general. We were there within 6 months. So this community was starved
For that, yeah.
which tells us we probably have the same demand and desire. We just don't have as many routes out there. It'll work well. It'll go 6 days a week.
We're gonna try to go through reports. I think we got a plan.
Christine, how far off are we?
I call this to order. I do 3 this way.
If you're in Europe,
Route 3.
if you're in Croatia, 3. We don't know. But we need 3 more. Or 3 more, or 3 more.
A response.
Ah, they just broke in this door.
Is it Bob Weir now on?
He's not coming. Miss Sharon?
Yes.
When I call to order, it is kind of long. It's longer now, doesn't it? It's longer.
Yes.
Yeah. Number, we just don't set as many out. It just depends on the meeting. Doris, we're recording. Doris, we're recording, correct?
I feel like we're gonna need a sign language interpreter now for us because we like, y'all like.
Yeah, we figured out there's one less table across, so it's like. Oh, wow. Yes, when he bangs the gavel, it'll be about a 2-minute.
Delay for you to get to finish. So I'm gonna. Okay, this is an interesting meeting right here at this point. We do not have a quorum, so I'm not calling it to order, but we're gonna go through.
There we go.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, we were all stuck in the elevator.
Wow.
Technically, you carpet.
Kevin.
You carpet.
That is literally like the most perfect
That was
time.
perfect.
We timed it
Do I go again or is
Just
that
as
one
good.
good?
Why don't you do it again? Play it again.
Okay, we're gonna rewind that. We're gonna go one more time. Oh. Okay, there it is. So now, good evening, everyone. Perfect timing. Hey, so we're gonna call this meeting to order at 7:09. Okay. No, PRTC is live streaming the meeting on PRTC's YouTube channel. This information was on PRTC's website, Facebook page, and posted at both facilities. Commissioner Tanisha Allen has asked to participate remotely in the meeting. Commissioner Allen, please state the reason for your remote participation and the location you are participating from. Commissioner Allen, are you online with us?
Yes,
Yeah, there we go.
good evening, everyone. Chairman Angry, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm participating remotely from my home in Stafford County, and the reason for my request for virtual is because I'm currently under the weather.
So can I get a motion? We need a motion?
Second.
Okay, I think that's Commissioner Lawson over here.
Yeah.
Commissioner Bodie second.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I guess no discussion on that. Call for vote.
Victor Angry,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin.
Aye.
Janine Lawson,
Aye.
Karen Mills, Tanisha Allen,
Excuse,
Ralph Smith,
Yes.
Jeanette Richel. Here. Deborah Frazier,
Aye.
Todd Horsley.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that motion's approved.
Thank you, ma'am. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Miss Christine, if you can call on the roll, please.
Victor Angry,
Here.
Andrea Bailey, Kenny Bodie,
Here.
Margaret Franklin. Here. Janine Lawson. Bob Weir, Karen Mills. Here. Kim Short, Ann Wheeler, Yesley Vega, Tanisha Allen.
Here.
Monica Gary.
here,
Oh, okay.
Before her too, I guess.
That wasn't Ms. Gary, was it?
Miss Gary, is that you?
no,
Ah.
No,
oh,
this is
you're double here.
Meg
it's a little
Bunky,
delayed.
Pamela Young, Pamela Sebeski, Ralph Smith.
Here.
Jeanette Richel. Here. Alana Mensing, Daryl Moore, Matthew Kelly, Jason Graham, Deborah Frazier. Here. Lori Hayes, Tim McLaughlin, David Ross, Jennifer DeBrule, Todd Horsley.
Here.
Brent Sparks, Elizabeth Guzman, George Parker. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion been properly seconded. You have the names,
Rachel.
Commissioner Richel,
Thank you.
or Vice. Yes.
No,
No, he
just
was gonna be
Richel.
back, yes. And Commissioner Bodie,
It's the one word she's gonna write down. Rachel second.
okay. And do we have any changes, any discussion on the agenda? Okay, please call.
Victor Angry,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin.
Aye.
Janine Lawson,
Aye.
Karen Mills, Tanisha Allen,
Aye,
Ralph Smith,
Aye.
Jeanette Richel,
Yes.
Deborah Frazier,
Aye.
Todd Horsley.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that motion's approved.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Frazier, seconded by Commissioner Richel. Any discussion? Call for vote.
Victor Angry,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin, Janine Lawson, Karen Mills, Tanisha Allen,
aye,
Ralph Smith,
Aye.
Jeanette Richel,
Yes.
Deborah Frazier,
Aye.
Todd Horsley.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that motion's approved.
Thank you, ma'am. Mrs. Dalton, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, other commission members, others. You do have, obviously, a CEO report and some other information in your packet stuff, so I'm just going to give you just a quick performance look for the month of April. Our average daily ridership was about the same as March. Of course, March had about 3 more operating days, or April had 3 fewer operating days. One thing that we were able to do is, of course, pick our system performance up, as I mentioned before, and of course to the operations board members, the months of end of February into the month of March, and even a little bit at the beginning of April, a lot of maintenance away work going on the Fredericksburg line. So that impacted our overall system performance. So we came in about 85%, still slightly less than our target, but it's still climbing up. I do want to, while I'm here, I do want to point out a couple of things, some events, if you will, coming up for the month of March. Some plugs for events that BRE staff and others in the region that will be participating. Sunday, May 7th is the Great Train Race in Fredericksburg. If you haven't been to this event, it's awesome. If you find yourself in the area about 7:30 a.m. On Sunday, you'll see a lot of folks and a lot of kids out there having races. So it's a good event. We like participating in that one. On May 10th, we'll do our annual customer survey on board our trains. And then, of course, probably about a month later, 6 weeks later, we'll start sharing the results of our annual customer survey. May 24th, we will kick off our Meet the Management season. First, May 24th will be at Union Station. And then, but that schedule would be posted for all of you. So I'll continue to encourage if you're out and about and you're in those areas on those dates, stop by. And then finally, I believe we'll meet after in the month of June. We'll meet afterwards. But Saturday, June 3rd, of course, is the annual Manassas Railway Festival. That once again we'll be operating special trains for that event. And once again, glad to participate in that annual event. That is it. That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Just a quick question, man. Is there any opportunity for us to get to drive the train? You know, I can't drive a bus. I'm thinking maybe I have to go to the train.
Well, let's start. We can start right here. We don't drive trains.
There it is. Okay.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Get you the little hat, the little.
In our, I'll just say, the trains we currently have, no.
Yeah.
Come up with something for you. Something that goes around the room.
It does sound like a very adventurous month we're gonna have with the opportunities to get out
Absolutely.
and enjoy all of that. So, yeah. Do I have any? Here we go. Yes, Commissioner Bowe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Dalton, as always, for your report. Just one quick question is, as we look into the summer on the horizon, do you see any differences in ridership? I know it's been climbing sort of steadily every year, but I also know that things are always in flux over the summer. The pandemic threw everything into a spin, but we've seen that there have been times where we've seen it fluctuated higher during the summertime. What do you see this coming summer?
So, you know, the crystal ball is still a little fuzzy,
Sure.
if you will, but what we're hearing and what we're slightly experiencing now is of course, as we head into the summer, a lot of the, and I'll stick with federal agencies and stuff right now, a lot of them have been, you know, enhancing their in-person work schedules and stuff like that. We're talking to folks on board our trains that have been coming on, you know, riding 1 day a week, 2 day a week, starting, a lot of them starting after June 1st, a lot of them going to 3 and 4 days a week. So we see that. But we'll also see a lot of private entities doing the same thing. Not that it impacts us on BRE, but for example, like, you know, Geico in Stafford County off of Route 17, where they've been predominantly remote, you know, in a remote work environment. You know, starting in July, they come back 2 days a week, 3 days a week. So all of that to say, we do anticipate ridership to continue to increase, but it's still a little fragmented. It's still a little disjointed, if you will, in terms of, you know, the peak, the traditional peak of the weeks. So I'll give you another stat too, just to give you an idea, like through the first 4 months of this calendar year, you know, we've doubled total ridership compared to the first 4 months of last calendar year, right? So, or near double, right? We're pretty close to double. So it's, we're still getting those riders back 1 or 2 at a time. Does that help?
Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Well, any other comments? Sir, thank you very much.
Sir, thank you.
All
Thanks,
right,
everybody
well,
else. Stay safe.
Yeah. On the public comment time. We have any,
Mr. Chairman, no one submitted public comments electronically. I'm not sure if anyone in the audience has any.
anyone in the audience? No one in the audience, okay. I don't want to rush that. I'm looking around. It looks like all staff over there, okay? All right, moving on to consent agenda. We have 2 consent agenda items. I'm gonna roll these 2 together if there's no objection. And I'll read them off to you. Okay. Acceptance of the Potomac and Rappahannock Transportation Commission monthly jurisdictional financial report for the period ending January 31st, 2023. Also, authorization to budget and appropriate Spotsylvania County's motor fuels tax funds for various transportation projects. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Frazier, second from Commissioner Bodie. Any discussion? Okay, please call for the vote.
Victor Angry,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin,
Aye.
Janine Lawson,
Aye.
Karen Mills, Tanisha Allen,
Aye.
Ralph Smith,
Aye.
Jeanette Richel,
Yes.
Deborah Frazier,
Aye.
Todd Horsley.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that motion's approved.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir,
Yes.
floor is yours.
Thank you. First, we have good news in that our reliability of our services has drastically improved for both commuter and local bus operations. Since the labor disruption, we've been operating exactly what we can reliably, consistently operate, and it has worked. In April, the first full month after the strike, ridership, the first 2 weeks of the month increased slowly, as we would expect, but it was also the middle of spring break. So we didn't quite see the bump we would love. But we're also only operating a core group of routes. Through April, we've added more routes and are now up to 11 of our core commuter routes, and the data shows it worked. Again, our number of missed trips declined by 95%. So that means we are delivering what we said we would deliver, which of course is a huge issue. And I've been able to return the mantra of we don't miss trips back to our operation, which is a very good thing. Every single missed trip now requires a call to Ms. Murdoch to explain from the operations group of why, and I also get the rider alert, and then I make the phone call to ask her why. So we have a complete 360-degree loop as to understand why we're missing trips, and when that phone call has to be made, it's amazing that we stop missing trips. So it's great to have that happening, and it's also shown because we're back to 90% of pre-strike service volumes, despite technically operating fewer routes. And due to the reliability increase, our phone calls to the call center is just a great number to look at. We had 5,300 calls in March and 3,800 in April. So that's an exemplar of when you deliver the services on the schedule, your customers are more satisfied. So plain and simple, we're glad to do that. Outreach for the Eastern local bus restructuring continues. We've had 2 public hearings and had 2 outreach events at the transit center. We're providing snacks and water and goodies to talk to customers. We've also met with bus operators and provided information to them. They've given feedback, and they're really excited about some of the changes we've got presented. We've got several hundred signs with QR codes at bus shelters and stops. So we really are trying to let the community know what's going on and get more feedback. In addition, we have more events coming up at Montclair, the Chin and Potomac Libraries, the Palazzo Building, Toto's, Potomac Mills Bus Stop, and more outreach at our transit center. So we truly are trying to capture our customers and maybe even get some awareness of people who aren't aware of what we do, and maybe capture them to say, hey, this is a great opportunity. Some housekeeping items that I wanted to share. Our FY24 budget public hearing will be held online on May 22nd. Deadline for comments is May 29th. We'll of course be in person, but we are making it available to the public if they are interested in that process. We're holding our public hearing for consolidation of Lake Ridge services on May 31st at the Transit Center. Deadline for comments is June 2nd. June 7th. We'll continue to publish that. We do have a few hard copies of the zero emissions bus study final report. If you're interested, please see Christine. It is a hefty volume. So if you want something to weight down the back of your pickup truck or something like that, it's definitely there for you. At your seats are the flyer for the I-395 comment period for commuter choice. as well as for our senior summit, which we'll talk about briefly. I have a couple of slides to share. We'll show those real quick. So lots of words. I'm not going to read it all. It's in your packet. Plus, we're going to send you the information. Plus, you have a flyer, and you'll hear a lot more about it. But this is focused on OmniRide partnering with Prince William County to set up the senior summit. And it's exactly what you think. Interest related to healthcare, transportation, safety and security. So we should have great involvement from the community. Of course, we'll have routes that serve that area. Those routes are zero fare. So it's really going to be focused on this information. Each session, 2 presenters, designated or dedicated topics. Next slide. This is the questions. How are we going to get this out? Yes, we have a QR code. Well, not every senior uses a QR code, but that's okay because we are going loud and proud with digital ad campaigns, email blasts, but we're also reaching out to the senior centers. We're reaching out to senior living and independent living organizations to see and promote this, to hopefully get a great turnout. And we're going to use you guys as our leaders in the community to help promote that information and travel around to the community. So we'll give you all of this information later. Didn't need to read all this, but we are making concerted effort. One, we're doing it for 2 reasons. Number one, it's a good thing to do, but our senior citizen riders really haven't returned to us. And the concerns over safety and health and all of those different things. So we wanted to do this during the pandemic, and of course, the pandemic prevented it. So hopefully we're in a different place in the world, and we'll get good turnout for this. And we're very excited. Joe and his team are helping lead the effort on this, and marketing is doing a fantastic job setting everything up and pushing that out. And then final information, and then I apologize. In addition to the QR code, we'll get this out through many forms, and then turn this over to Ms. Murdoch for her update.
Thank you, Bob. I'm gonna follow up just on the reliability things you talked about. We're about 7 weeks out from the strike. And I tell you, it was rough the first 3 weeks for them coming back. Accidents, call outs, missing service. And we got with the Teamsters and talked to them about some of the things that they were interpreting in the agreement. And they found out that they could miss a lot of money and call outs start to go down. So I'm glad to see that reliability is coming back to work. We're not missing as many trips. Now the goal is to kind of keep it there. And I know over the last year, every time I came before you, I said, please send me some drivers. Please, need drivers. We're coming up on a new run bid, and we finally are there, almost there with the number of drivers that we need to pull off the run bid. It looks like, Bob, we might have 10 extra on the extra board. But guess what? You know how you get one in and the other one sticks out? So now I got management openings. So I need a maintenance manager. We just hired a new HR manager who starts on May 15th. I need a director of operations. So if you can help me there, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Any questions I can answer for the commission? Sure, thank you.
No, we're looking here. Well, thank you, Bob, for that. So we do have a presentation from Mr. Adam Hager. We're going to talk about commuter choice programs and projects.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, the crowd's up here.
I forgot one thing.
Okay.
Karen did write an industry article that I forgot to mention. DC is going to start using cameras to ticket drivers in bus lanes. So that's a huge issue in car. They have the dedicated bus lanes.
Say that again,
DC is going to ticket the drivers in bus lanes. They have dedicated bus only lanes, and cars get in them, and they sometimes squat and stop, and it completely clogs everything up. So this may be of interest considering the conversations in Prince William County. So I did want to mention that it's a technology being deployed in DC, but for a different reason. And it's got some benefits for it, but it really does bog down transit's ability to be effective. So wanted to point that article out to you.
Thanks for the warning.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight, I am here to present the staff recommended and recently Joint Commission Working Group endorsed program of projects for I-395 to your choice fiscal years 24 and 25. Again, the Joint Commission Working Group did convene on April 20th to endorse this program for consideration by the full commissions, and there's no action being sought tonight. But I'll be back next month for program approval and referral to the Commonwealth Transportation Board. Next slide. First, some context around this program. We had a number of unique circumstances in this round. We saw much higher demand than we've seen in prior rounds. In total, there was $88 million of requests across 16 different applications. We also had more funding available, given carryover, especially from the last round, which was in the middle of the pandemic. We do have constraints on the amount of support that we can allocate to transit operations. So within that $48 million available, only about $16 million can go to transit operations to allow for some growth in future rounds. And overall, we did have a very strong set of proposals, which I'll get to in just a moment. So with this context in mind, we did identify a few principles to guide our programming, which does depart from a top-down scoring-based approach this year. We aim to accommodate some transformative larger capital proposals for the first time. So the timing of this round does fit well with their construction schedules. And this takes advantage of some flexibility in our program policy to split awards for larger efforts over this and the next funding round, which I'll cover again in a moment. The program will continue support for high-performing transit service enhancements that we've supported in prior rounds. And this has been a good corridor for transit even during the pandemic, as you all know. Given the overall strength of the proposals, we aim to spread the wealth a little bit by ensuring that all applicants receive funding for at least their top priority project. We also want to leverage the good variety of applications that we receive to support ridership growth in the corridor. Next slide. Here are a few highlights at a glance before we jump into the individual projects. Our recommended program would allocate all of the available funding for new projects, as well as the amount that's available within that for transit operating costs. We would ensure, again, that all applicants receive a piece of the pie, and we have let applicant staff know the recommendations, and they are excited and supportive of what we've put together here. But again, the Joint Commission Working Group endorsed. As mentioned, we would split funding awards for the two larger construction efforts over this round and next. And it's also a very impactful set of projects. The 13 that are included in the recommendations would achieve 11,000 additional weekday trips in the corridor based on estimates provided by applicants. When we compare how these trips would likely be made with and without each project, we get a number of other benefits that you can see here on the right side of the slide. The users of the projects would save about 35 million miles of vehicle travel, 138,000 hours of delay, and $4 million in annual fuel costs. From the state to DMT, we estimate that about 42 automobile crashes would be avoided each year. And this is also good for the environment. As you might imagine, we expect to see about a 76% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. So with that context in mind, let's take a look at the projects on the next slide. 3 of the 13 projects that we are recommending for funding are in the capital bucket: the station expansion at Crystal City, a new bus rapid transit line along Route 1 in Fairfax County, and the purchase of 2 60-foot electric buses for Dash. These would all be firsts for our program, so we're really excited about that. And the first 2 projects are what we deem larger capital projects, and that they're seeking more than $5 million from the program. So to accommodate them, we're proposing to fund each with $10 million in this program and the remainder in the FY 26-27 program, in which we expect to see about $35 to $37 million available. So the $18 million needed to complete the funding for these 2 projects would come off the top in the next funding round. Next slide. So switching now to transit operations projects split across this slide and the next. First, we are proposing to fund each of the 8 renewal applications that we received from OmniRide, Dash, and Fairfax County. Dash will receive funding for enhanced service on its busy lines 35 and 36. Fairfax County, its express route 396, and OmniRide would see 3 commuter routes and 2 local routes receive funding. 4 of these are on the next slide, so hang tight. The one new transit service improvement is the Metro Bus 16M service enhancement. This project will provide additional peak period service along the Columbia Pike corridor in Arlington County into Fairfax County. Next slide. This recommended program also supports a reinstatement of VRE's Amtrak Step-Up program, which has been on hold since 2020. The Step-Up program allows VRE pass holders to ride select peak and off-peak Amtrak trains in the corridor. And again, here, we're excited about this because it provides a really cost-effective way to increase passenger rail options for commuters. And each of these projects would receive 24 months of funding per adopted program policy. Next slide. Next slide. There we go. In terms of next steps, we are continuing to take public comment on all projects under consideration for funding. We have promoted the comment period over social media, including geo-targeted ads, and asked applicants to help spread the word through their channels. All of our materials are available in both English and Spanish, including our easy-to-use survey form. Please do consider taking a moment to share across your platforms with the handout provided at the table. I'll share that on Tuesday. We did have one applicant put out a press release, and we received just under 100 comment submissions in the next 24 hours right from that. So it does work. So please consider that. We do have about 280 comments as of today. So we will share those comments and other input that we receive with commissioners in advance of any action to adopt the program next month. And the commission's adopted program would then be referred to the Commonwealth Transportation Board for adoption as part of the 6-year improvement program later in June. Implementation of the funded projects could begin as soon as July 1st. I do have some bad news, Mr. Chair. The 13 that we're recommending for funding, you also cannot drive or conduct any of those either. That's the only bad news I have.
You can buy a step-up ticket.
Certainly. But otherwise, I'm happy to take questions.
We don't support.
Well, thank you for that report and presentation. Do I have any questions? Commissioner Bodie.
No questions, just comment. As the appointee there, and I appreciate the appointment onto the Joint Commission. It was a great set of projects that staff did a really great job setting the stage with the pre-meeting we had before it was presented to the full boards. And what I would say is, as you all looked at those projects, we have some really good Prince William County Manassas, Greater Manassas projects. We also have ones that are on the periphery. So the BRT stuff for Fairfax, for example, things that will help in the coming years set the stage for us to do some of the very same things that we have been discussing for the last 2 or 3 years. So this is a really great positioning set of programs that will really set the stage for us in the next 2 or 3 or 4 years, start some of our own bigger projects that I know that we've been talking about as a community in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, yeah. Any other comments? Thank you very much, Adam, appreciate it, yeah. Okay, all right, well, we're moving right along. So first of all, I want to say, Mrs. Rodrigo, Mrs. Pandak, fellow commissioners, I recognize the error of my ways, because earlier during consent agenda, I said combine these two, and after discussion, well, I recognize consent agenda is consent agenda, and you need to pull something off to if you want to discuss it, and it's just going to go forward. So I want to correct myself in that process, because now that we are on to action items where we only have one. Yes, okay. So we have one action item, ladies and gentlemen, and that is to authorize the executive director to conduct public hearings on proposed introduction of Saturday Western Local Paratransit, Microtransit, and East-West Express service. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
All right, by Commissioner Franklin, second by Commissioner Bodie. And now, any discussion? We have hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Victor Angry,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin.
Aye.
Janine Lawson.
Aye.
Karen Mills.
Aye.
Tanisha Allen,
Aye.
Ralph Smith,
Aye.
Jeanette Richel,
Yes.
Deborah Frazier,
Aye.
Todd Horsley.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that motion's approved.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Now we're on to chairman's time. Only got two things to make a comment on. The first is, I don't know what's unusual about tonight that we don't have all of our commissioners. So it's not summer yet, I'm not sure, but this is interesting. Second thing I'll say, if you pulled out your work calendars, if you have your calendars up before you, the July 7th meeting is going to be moved to July 13th. So I would ask that you please pay close attention to that and make sure you move that and adjust out of your calendars and don't show up here on July 7th, because if you do, I think they have buses for you to drive, correct?
Worst case, you can clean one.
Or clean.
Put you to work.
July 13th, yeah, so the meeting is gonna be moved from July 7th to July 13th. In the interest of true summer.
Quorum.
Yeah, and a
The
quorum.
6th.
The 6th.
Oh, the 6th, I said the 7th of the 6th, from July 6th to July 13th. Okay, and that is really all, well, that's all I have. So what I'll do is go around the room for commissioners' time if you.
I'm good, Mr. Chair.
Pass.
Just Chairman, I would point out that if you do attend the Manassas Railroad Festival, we will at the Harris Pavilion have a model train set up and you may steer it. drive it. I think it's June. We will give you a engraved invitation.
Engraved.
And I want to thank staff very much for my hearing assist device. It has made a difference, so thank you, everyone. It's much appreciated.
One thing I did want to mention is that next month it's a very important meeting, so we do need quorum for certain. It's our budget approval plus all the contract renewals for our health insurance, vision, all the stuff that comes with passing the budget. So I did want to put that, it is a mission critical item and there's a lot on the agenda, which can be bundled, but nonetheless, there's a lot of items in there that I wanted to just give you that awareness.
Pass.
I would like to thank you, Mr. Chair, and also the commission for the beautiful flowers that you sent to me when I had surgery, and that's why I missed the last meeting. So thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Good, okay. Oh, Commissioner Allen?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I don't have any comments. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you all very much. It's now 7:40. I'm 10 minutes behind my planned time, and I just want to say thank you all for attending and this session tonight. And I have a great remainder of your Thursday and a great weekend. So we're gonna adjourn this meeting now. All right, 7:40.
I think that was 31 minutes.
That's crazy, right?
Wow.
I think I'm jealous. I couldn't get you guys out of here.
It's not up to us.
Right. People have all the questions. And I was sharing.
And also, you oversaw the pandemic when we went into the pandemic. I'm just saying.